Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome. Sorry for the late beginning. I was waiting for the students. The students showed up an hour late. A half an hour late and an hour late. Okay, here we are. So it's going to be Pesach, and we'll learn a Pesach Maimer. This is in Sefer Memorim, Tov Reish Ayin Tes. So this week was the yard side of the 5th Habad Rebbe on Monday, on Beis Nisan. Not Monday, Sunday. Sunday was the yard site. So we'll learn a Maimer from the 5th Habad Rebbe, the Rebbe Rashab. And this Maimer was said exactly 100 years ago. Shabbos Parshas Mitzrayim, Shabbos Hagadol. Isn't that interesting? It was also Shabbos Hagadol. It was also Shabbos Parshas Mitzrayim. Usually Shabbos Hagadol is Shabbos Tzav. It's only in a leap year that it's Shabbos Hagadol, but it came out to be Shabbos Hagadol then as well. For those of you watching online, there's no camera, but you have a nice looking make-believe room over there, and you can look at that and enjoy. If you want to see some more action, you should come to Maayon. That's at 140 North La Brea, Los Angeles. If you take a flight from Tennessee, you can still get it before we're over. Okay? So that's the invite that I'm giving for everyone. Okay? Over here, not only do we have the sites, you can see the rabbi teaching, which is really cool. The other thing we have over here is we even have kugel. We have potato kugel and noodle kugel and lakshan kugel. So I'm sorry for you guys that want to just lay in your pajamas and listen at home. Here is where the real action is. But I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad you're listening. Here we are. Okay. We know that next week, Thursday night, and a week from tonight, is going to be Bedikas Chametz. We're going to search for the Chametz. Friday, late morning, we're going to burn the Chametz. That's the way it is. So on the 14th day of Nisan, we burn the chametz, and the night before, we search for the chametz. So the Rebbe is going to explain the spiritual significance of both the search of the chametz and the burning of the chametz, which is cool because that's usually we don't really learn the spiritual elements of that. We do the physical labor, but not the spiritual part of it. So now we're going to learn. And why one takes place in the night and the other one takes place by day, and why on the 14th. The main mimer is going to focus on the idea of two levels of godliness. One level is the divine of the 14th, and one level is the level of divinity of the 15th. Two dimensions of godly experience, godly manifestation, godly revelation in this world. And I'm going to give you the whole mimer in a nutshell so you can leave in 3 minutes. And then I can teach the mimer like completely alone in the room. That won't be happy. I won't be happy with that. In any case, what's the whole mimer in a nutshell? The Rebbe is going to explain like this: that ridding yourself of the chametz really, as we're going to see in a moment, belongs to the 15th day. Even though we don't do it on the 15th day, because the Torah technically says you're not allowed to have any chametz anymore on Pesach. So we have to do it on the 14th day. But the Rebbe is going to explain how the 15th, the influence of the 15th extends or pre-extends, I don't know how you would say that, pre-occurs, the light of the 15 already precedes the 15th onto the 14th. It extends into the day before, into the 14th. And that's the reason why we're able to burn chametz, which means completely rid the world of all unholiness and ourselves of all unholiness, already on the 14th. It's not something that belongs to the 14th. It's something that inherently belongs to the level of the divine represented by the 15th. We're going to see soon the 15th represents a certain revelation of the Eibishter, a dimension of God, not the dimension, but a certain, as we'll soon see. And when that is revealed, it becomes possible for us to once and for all deal the Yetzer Hara a blow that he's never going to get up from. Goodbye. Out. Chop his head off. That's only possible on the 15th, but the 15th extends to the 14th. So we're able to do it, but only by day. At nighttime, that means the night before that, before we reach the level of the 15th, so when we're really still on the level of the 14th, which is still a state of Golus Mitzrayim, we haven't freed ourselves from the shackle of Mitzrayim, we can still bring the light of the 14th, or Larba'ah, the light of the 14th in. And what does that accomplish? It doesn't accomplish for us to decimate the klipa, destroy the klipa completely, but we can control it. We can minimize it, control it, crush him. Not a death blow, but we can crush him. And that we do the 14th night. We battle with the unholy. On the 15th, which we do already on the 14th, we can completely rid ourselves from chametz. Why is that? The Rebbe is going to explain that the 15th represents a time when the infinite light of Hashem that utterly transcends the natural order, the creative realm, becomes accessible. In order to rid the world of all klipa and rid ourselves from Yetzer Hara completely, we need the light of the 15th. The night of the 14th cannot accomplish. The light of the 14th can't accomplish. The difference between the light of the 15th and the 14th is that the 15th is the infinite light that transcends creation. The 14th is an illumination that's kind of part of creation and it's uncovering the godly power that is within creation, but not yet transcending creation. So, by merely uncovering the divine potential in creation and godliness in creation, the realization of Hashem in creation, it gives us the power to overpower the chametz, which is the Yetzer Hara, which is bedikas chametz, but not biur chametz, not get rid of it. To get rid of it, we need the light of the 15th. That's the idea. The 15th is very unique because the moon is in its full illumination. And the moon being in the full illumination means that the world, Knesset Yisroel, the Jewish people, are the full recipients of God's light on the highest level. That's the 15th. We know, for instance, I've been talking a lot about Mashiach and about Malchus Beis David, the return of the Davidic kingdom. So we know that David HaMelech, David is Gematria 14. So when we see the difference, and Shlomo HaMelech was the 15th. What's the difference between David? He doesn't say this in the Mimer, but I'm applying it. What's the difference between David and Shlomo? David still had to fight the Klippas. He waged war. He overpowered them. He was a mighty king, but he had to fight them. Because David represented the light of the 14th, not the light of the 15th. It took the 15th generation, when Shlomo HaMelech became king, the divine godliness that manifested on the 15th, like the 15th day of the month, was complete. The moon was receiving the full light of Hashem. The light that transcends creation. When that happens, the Klippas are nullified on their own. You don't even have to fight them. They're gone. So no one dared fight Shlomo HaMelech, and he was a king over the whole world. By Mashiach, it's going to be permanently. By Shlomo HaMelech, it was temporarily Mashiach. Why Mashiach? Because Mashiach is also going to be the 15th generation. That means just like there was a 15 generations from Avram Avinu till Shlomo HaMelech, there's 15 generations from when the return of the Davidic kingdom comes back to the Jewish people. And you know I'm not going to control myself, so I'm going to tell you like this. When the Lubavitch Rebbe made the Hayoim Yoim, the special sefer where he writes every day a little inspiration for the day, he before he starts giving us little Chassidic teachings, daily doses of Chassidic teachings, he makes an introduction and he tells us about the 7 Habad masters, holy masters and teachers. And he speaks about their lives. He gives us a short biography on the lives of each one of these and including himself actually. Or that was added in later, but when he printed it, it was only 7, but then later it was added in the Rebbe's life as well. So it's interesting when he speaks about the 7 tzaddikim, including when he says he should start with the Alter Rebbe. Now he doesn't bring the Baal Shem Tov, he doesn't bring the whole name as Richard Magid, because they're not Chabad Rabbeim. This is a special daily inspiration for Chabad Chassidim. So he focuses it only on the Chabad Rabbeim, on the Chabad teachers. 7. But when he speaks about the Alter Rebbe, he doesn't start with the Alter Rebbe. He starts telling you who the Alter Rebbe is, and he gives you a yichus to the Maharal of Prague. He says the Alter Rebbe is a great-grandson of the Maharal of Prague. And who's the Maharal of Prague? He's from the descendants of David ben Yishai. Migeza Hagaoine, Migeza David ben Yishai. So you always wonder, what in the world is he talking about the Maharal of Prague over here? Okay, he's a great-great-great-grandfather of the Alter Rebbe. He's known to be a great man, but the Alter Rebbe stands on his own right. Reb Shneur Zalman of Liad, the author of the Shulchan Aruch. I mean, he has his own yichus. He doesn't. Why do you have to tell us? And the answer is, the Rebbe wants you to know that there is a system over here, that the Rabbeim are not just tzaddikim, they're the return of the kingdom of David. So according to that, if you count them, and he gives you all the names of exactly who's who, the Maharal and his son Bitzalel and the next son, he names every single one. He doesn't just say, they come from the Maharal. He names each one. Why? Because the Rebbe is trying to tell you, just like the return of Malchus Beis David takes 14 and 15 generations. So how does it work? So the Maharal is number 1. And then you have Bitzalel, Rav Moshe, I don't know, he goes through all the names. The Alter Rebbe is number 8 in that list. So the Mittler Rebbe is number 9. Tzemach Tzedek is number 10. The Rebbe Marash is number 11. The Rebbe Rashab is number 12. The Friediger Rebbe is number 13. And the Rebbe is number 14. So 14 is the same like David. That's already where we're already beginning to prepare the Beis HaMikdash. We're doing the groundwork. And in the Rebbe's time, you have to say, being that there's no successor, so what we have to say, that the 14th is here as the 14th, and he's here as the 15th. And we're now at transitioning age. We're waiting from the 14th to be Mizgala as the 15th. And then we have the full, powerful revelation of the 15th light that decimates the Klippa completely, that we're seeing happening already now in the world, that the Klippas are completely shattered and running for their life. Unbelievable. So that's my intro. Let's learn inside. Or Larba'ah, sir. See, till now we were busy with Bedikas chametz. Now we're actually holding by Biur chametz. In world history, it's no more Bedikas chametz. We're holding already by Biur chametz. All the chametz of the world is going to now disappear. All right. Here we go. Or Larba'ah, the light of the 14th, we search for chametz la'oiraner, to the light of the candle. The tzarich love, we need to understand mahu inyan bedikas chametz. Why is there? What's this inyan of bedikas chametz? Dafka barbasa. This happens dafka on the 14th. Gemara dav dalet seifam et beis. The Gemara, it says in Masechtas Pesachim, in the end of the second, it says like this: Ksiv, it says shivas yamim sa'or lo yamatze bibateichem. 7 days, you're not allowed to have any leaven, any yeast. Sa'or is yeast. You're not allowed to have any yeast in your homes. Uksiv, that's one pasuk. That means from the beginning of Pesach, which next week is going to start Friday night, you're not allowed to have first day Pesach. You're not allowed to have any chametz. But the pasuk says, "Ach bayoyim arishayin," only on the first day. You hear this question? He's asking a very powerful question. It says in the pasuk, only on the first day, tashbisu sa'or mibateichem. You should get rid of yeast from your home. So it's telling you, when is it telling you to get rid of the yeast? On the first day, implying the first day of Yom Tov. If you have to get rid of it of that day, it means you must have it in the beginning of the day, and then you get rid of it. But you're now allowed to have it in your possession already, because it says 7 days you can't have it. So the Gemara is asking a contradiction. On the 15th day of Nisan, are you allowed to have chametz, or you're not allowed to have chametz? And one pasuk says you should get rid of it on that day. On that day you should get rid of it, is a sign that you have it and you're getting rid of it. And then, but it also says in the pasuk that for 7 days you're not allowed to have any leaven, and the 7 days include the first day, includes the 15th. So the Gemara answers, no. When it says the first day, it doesn't mean Yom Tov, it means Erev Yom Tov. And the Gemara says that an interesting idea, that first, Rishon first doesn't always mean first of, it can also mean a day before. Obviously that changes the dynamics of all of existence. Imagine that. The Gemara says Rishon first, the day before, Erev, whatever, it can also be considered Rishon. And the Gemara proves that from a pasuk, we're another place where you see clearly that Rishon means a day before. It says in the pasuk, Harishon Adam Yivaled, were you made before man? So it doesn't say, it says Harishon, the beginning, first of man. And the Gemara says, okay, so the Gemara says, L'rabbeis arba asar lebir. From here we learn out that the 14th, we do already beer. The pashtus hakasav, the simple meaning of the pasuk is, ach b'yom harishon hu dekal yom hachamisha asar. The simple meaning of the pasuk is when it says on the first day, it's referring to the 15th day. V'zeh efshar, and you can't say that. Sharei ksiv shivas yamim sa'ar lo yematzeh. It says 7 days, yeast should not be found in your property. Im came ashakas of ach b'yom harishon, when it says on the first day you should get rid of it. It comes to include the 14th day for getting rid of it. The gamahu nikra rishon, that too is called a rishon. Like it says over there, daf hey amad aleph. The yud dalet nikra rishon, that even the 14th is called rishon. Like it says, b'rishon barba asar. On the 14th. It's a beferish pasuk. And if so, mashma se'inyan hu, that the meaning of the pasuk seems to imply like this. Since it's placing the ridding of chametz on the first day, which usually the first day means the first day of Yom Tov, which would be the 15th. But over here, we're forced to say that the 15th really means the 14th. So what does it mean deeper? Why is the Torah playing with you? Why can't the Torah just be simple and upright? Why does the Torah have to make you so crazy? The answer is, the Torah is speaking the way things are in truth. Torah is saying like this, ridding yourself of chametz, ridding the world of klippus, you can't do it before the 15th. It belongs to the 15th. The 15th represents that godly energy, that divine presence, that's only the 15th. The chiddush the Torah is telling you is that you can activate the 15th already on the 14th. That's what the Torah is saying. You can start experiencing the 15th when it's still the 14th, but the reason you're able to do it is not because of the 14th. The 14th doesn't empower you to get rid of chametz. It's the 15th. It's like taking Shabbos in early. Why are you allowed to make kiddush at 6 o'clock tomorrow? A lot of people are going to be making kiddush or chayes at 6:30 already. Are you allowed to make kiddush because you're allowed to make kiddush on Friday? You're not allowed to make kiddush on Friday. You're only allowed to make kiddush on Shabbos. It's because you can take in Shabbos on Friday, which means you can bring in Shabbos earlier. So when are you making kiddush? You're making kiddush on the 7th day, not on the 6th day. It's just that you started the 7th day earlier. Yid has a koyach to bring the 7th day in before it's the same thing over here. When we burn the chametz, we're already in the 15th energy. And that's why we're able to burn it. Now, physically, you can burn anything whenever you want. But when we're talking about getting rid of chametz, we mean true getting rid of chametz, ridding the world of all unholiness and of all evil. That takes the 15th. That's what he's saying. And therefore, the main thing is the 15th. Well, I'm going to go back. I forgot the top line. The beer chametz why they madregas rishon. In order to rid yourself of chametz is through the level called rishon. And the level of rishon is only from the 15th, because that's the rishon, the first day of Pesach. We're soon going to see that rishon is gematria keser. Now you understand. In order to burn your chametz, you need the hisgalus of holiness. That's associated with the divine level called Keser, which is the infinite light of God that transcends creation. And usually that's only accessible on the 15th. The Eibishter has given us an ability to introduce the level of Rishon, which is Keser, which belongs to the 15th, that we can take it in already on the 14th. The Ikeru b'chamisha Asar, the main thing is in the 15th. Achar ba'asaru gam kein Rishon, the 14th is also Rishon. That's why the 14th is included the Bir. And the same thing you can speak about the 14th generation and the 15th generation. Really, the real messianic age starts in the 15th generation. But those who are smart can already take it in on the 14th generation. They can already start living in the Mashiach's light. That's our avodah today, to connect the 15th to the 14th. Till the sun will shine and we will see the 15th already. That's what we're looking for. But now you need to understand what's the difference between bedikas chametz and bir chametz. According to this comes out, the habir, the ridding yourself of chametz, humemadregas rishon, that is only accomplished on rishon. Dafka, she'ikaru b'chamisha asa, which it's primarily, it's rooted, it's mainly, you're able to do it only on the 15th. But you can extend the 15th into the 14th, and bring the Rishon into the 14th as well. And that's why the 14th is also possible for you to do bir chametz, to burn your chametz. But bedikas chametz doesn't need the level of Rishon. Bedikas chametz you can do already the night of the 14th. What's the idea? So the difference is simple. In bedikas chametz, you're not ridding yourself of the chametz. You're searching for it. You're identifying it, and you're setting it aside. In a yid's avoda, that represents you identify the evil in your heart. You master it. You get control over it, and you put it in a tied box. That means you don't let your little Yetzer Hara outside of the tied chametz bag. You know, that tied chametz bag, which you're protecting the chametz. As the hours are getting closer and closer to the end of the chametz permission time, it's amazing how the chametz first is the whole house, and then you start cornering it until it ends up in one small little closet. Everybody can only eat chametz in this tiny little corner. Right? Then it moves outside the house. Like right over here in this backyard table, over here's your chametz. Here's the chametz box. So, but at least you identify it all year long. You're rubbing shoulders with the chametz wherever you're walking. It's slipping, it's all over you. You don't even realize it. Now at least you identified it. You have him sequestered. You have him locked up. You have him cornered. If you choose to take him out, you take him out. You know, for that last bite of the bagel, Erev Pesach in the morning. So that represents the spiritual idea of being in control of your Yetzer Hara, even though you haven't gotten rid of it. You can't get rid of it. Bir chametz represents already knocking him out completely. That's the difference in Chassidus between iskafia and his hapcha. And Tanya talks about two levels of dealing with unholiness. A tzaddik is able to rid himself completely from all evil. Doesn't have any. A true tzaddik, according to the Tanya, has no desire ever to do a sin. Doesn't even have a battle. Doesn't even have a desire. He has eradicated all evil from his heart. A Beinoni, anybody that's less than a tzaddik, struggles. He's a Beinoni, means he always masters. He's a master over it. He conquers it. He or she never sins, but but it still exists. That's the difference between bedikas chametz and bir chametz, and that's why we'll understand that bedikas chametz you're able to do even when on the 14th, even without the level of keser shining. And bir chametz you need the level of keser. So the Inyan and the idea is, now look how cool this is. Look how cool this is. This is so cool. The Asar hu dalet. The Yud. What makes 14? How do you get 14? 14 you get by 10 and 4. That makes up 14. 10 digits, and then you have another 4, 14. And the Chamisha Asar, and 15. How do you have 15? What happens? Who shahadalid nasehei. Isn't that really, really cool? I just had an epiphany. I just had an epiphany. I just had an epiphany. I'm sorry, everybody. Being that the cameras are not working, I'm behaving a little free. Here's the epiphany. He doesn't say that how does 13 become 14? He doesn't say that the gimel becomes a dalet. Because a gimel doesn't become a dalet. A dalet is another letter. There's a gimel. There's yud gimel, that's 13. How does yud gimel become yud dalet? Not the gimel becomes a dalet. You add another one and it becomes dalet. The next one comes, that's dalet. How does the 11 become 12? It's not that the aleph becomes a base. You add another one, becomes a base. But when it comes to dalet and hey, he doesn't say that how does it become from 14, 15. That the dalet, that he doesn't say that the dalet, that you add another one, now you have a hey. He says the dalet becomes a hey. How does the dalet become a hey? It gets a little yud. It gets a little yud in the middle. And when it gets a little yud in the middle, the dalet becomes a hey. And from the 14th becomes the 15th. And he's going to explain Kabbalistically what that means. He's going to explain that in a moment, what that means. But now, based on what I was relating it before to the 14 tzaddikim, and I told you that the Rebbe is the 14th, he's David. He equals the same like David. Yeah, but now next, where's the next generation? The answer is there's no next generation. The dalet becomes a hey. You can see that. He doesn't say it's but the only one, but the 14th becomes the 15th. Cool. The dalet, how does the dalet become a hey? When you add to the dalet the little yid, the little yud, you add the little yud. Who's the little yud? That's every single yid. When you bring yourself to the 14th tzaddik and you surrender yourself, like we're going to do Be'ezus Hashem next week, and the Kabbalahs of Malchus, whatever. So then, when a yid submits himself to the dalet, then it becomes the 15th. It needs, and the Rebbe says that, the Rebbe says, I need the nitzutz of every yid. The pintele yid, that's the nitzutz of Mashiach, and it's every yid. When that reveals itself through the recognition and the submission to Mashiach Tzidkenu, so then the dalet becomes a hey, and then it becomes the 15th generation, and then evil is eradicated from the world forever and ever, and that's the 15th generation. For this itself, it was worth learning the ganze Maimer. Wow! I'm so excited. L'chaim. Such a giloy I just had. Wow. The dalet becomes a hey. Not, there's another one. There's no other one. That's why the Rebbe said, the Rebbe once was talking, one of the sikhs, someone just told this me last week. The Rebbe said that he was talking, and he said that the Rebbe is the 9th generation from the Baal Shem Tov. He's the 9th generation from the Baal Shem Tov. Because there's the Baal Shem Tov, there's the Magid, and there are seven Chabad Rebbeim. So he's the 7th, he's the 9th. So the Rebbe says that, and from the 9th will become the 10th. So someone was telling me that he was standing there, and he was reading it, and he turned to this and he turned to some other chassid, and he said, "What's the Rebbe talking about? What does it mean the 9th becomes the 10th?" So that's what we're seeing now. So that the 9th becomes the 10th. They're not dealing with psanu, another. There's no other. Okay, but now let's understand that this is the physical manifestation of the whole situation. What's the Richness Indian of all of this? What does it mean? What does it mean the 14th, and what does it mean the 15th? So it's the difference between the dalet and the hey, because the dalet becomes a hey. So he says like this: Ve'inyan, v'nasa hey. What's the shahadalet nasa hey shemetoisif yud bahadalet? The yud gets added to the dalet, v'nasa hey, and it becomes a hey. Dalet yud. And now what's now? So when you're looking at yud dalet, what spells yud dalet? Yud dalet spells die. Barikoisi lachem bracha, believe, die, I will give you blessing. Die. No, die. Die means enough. It's very good to be living in the 14th generation because nothing is lacking. Take a look to the Jewish people. We were in a gullus, persecuted by all the nations, thousands of years, impoverished, beaten, broken. We were in the gullus, we were impoverished, we were beaten, we were broken, and Jews were always suffering. From the 1950s and onward, we started seeing that the Jewish people started living in a state that, Baruch Hashem, there is nothing lacking in terms of parnasa for the Jewish people. There are poor people, not rich people, but even the poor people today do better than the richer people did back then. People, everybody has. And if not, you get. There's always plenty. No one is walking around hungry. I mean, they should help. I'm not going to say no one. I can't say for the whole world. But generally, Jews, especially in the last few years, there's such a bracha, such an abundance. Yidden are doing well financially across the world. Generally, it's amazing. Never has there been such a harchava for the Jewish people. Why? Because in 1950, the Lubavitcher Rebbe became Rebbe. And he's the 14th. 14 means die, enough. Now, die means two things. Die can mean enough. Die also means plenty. Yesh lanu die, we have plenty, we don't need anything else. Once the 14th becomes the leader, it's like the days of David HaMelech, the Yidden weren't rich. Shlomo HaMelech, they were rich. By David HaMelech, the Yidden weren't rich yet. But no one was suffering. It was die. Everybody was plenty, there was enough, it was sufficient. When Mashiach will come, Be'ezus Hashem, any moment, there will be wealth, she'ein kamoy. That's going to be wealth. But even the last generation before Mashiach comes, there is such a bracha. Even in the last moments of Galus, there's such a, even though it's still Galus, there's such a bracha that we're in a state of die. Enough. And the Rebbe explained that's the difference between the 14th and the 15th. 15th represents Ashirus, wealth. 15th, no, I'm saying from the Maral of Prague. I mentioned that earlier. And the Ayom Yom, when the Rebbe starts saying where Chabad comes from, he says the Maral is the first. Why does he start talking about the Maral? Because the Maral is the first one to return. The beginning of Malchus Beis David starts to return again. Because just like in the beginning of time, from Avram Avinu, it took 15 generations until the moon was full. So from the Maral of Prague, like the end of days, also from the Maral of Prague, the light of Malchus Beis David starts shining. The Alter Rebbe is already number 8, and then he continues 7 generations. The Rebbe is the 14th. That's the idea. So now, that's why I'm speaking all about this, because I'm excited. It's the Rebbe's birthday this week. Coming up, this week, Tuesday, Yud Aleph Nisan. So 14 is die. So spiritually, what does it mean? The Rebbe is going to explain an interesting thing. The Rebbe Rashab. He says that 14, die means there's no lacking. Nothing lacking is like, but it means it's not wealthy yet, as you mentioned. Chazal say that when someone is, how much tzedakah? Someone needs tzedakah. When is there someone that needs tzedakah? When there is a need. Tzedakah is only applicable when there is a need. Someone is lacking, you have to fill. How much do you have to give to someone that's lacking? How much he's lacking. That's what it is. That's what Chazal say, dai machsoiroi. You have to give him whatever he's lacking. But they say, and what's lacking? Every person according to what they're used to. Someone who's accustomed to have, the Gemara says, a servant running before him, then you have to provide that too. Guys used to having, a chauffeur. This is what his wife was used to. Was life with him. Have a nice Mercedes, pick him up. You have to provide him with the Mercedes, and it's not called wealth, because anything that he's lacking, that he was accustomed to, is not wealth. Chazal say you have to give him whatever he's lacking, but you don't have to make him wealthy. So what does wealthy mean? Wealthy means beyond. Yoter. Ba'asafa. Yoter. More. Much more than what the person needs. He doesn't even need it. It's above and beyond. That's called affluence. That's called wealth. The level of the 14th means, spiritually, that we're not lacking any of the revelation that the world can handle. As much as the world can take, we're able to, we have. We're not lacking anything. But that's not wealthy. Wealthy, he's going to explain, is when we're zoicha, when we merit to receive a revelation that's above and beyond creation. And since it's above and beyond creation, it's not. If you don't have it, you're not lacking anything, because it's totally beyond your imagination, even totally out. So you're not lacking, and when you're given that, that's called wealth. In the words of the Rebbe Rashab, there's two levels. There's Oirein Soif Shalamayla Ma'olamais. There's the infinite light that's beyond the worlds. And there is the Oir, the light of Hashem, that's the source of the worlds, the source of creation. Now, because of certain sins, and because of certain tzimtzumim, contractions, and because of certain happenings in the process of, mainly because of the sins and all kinds of stuff, we cause that the light that's set aside for creation gets kind of stuck and does not reveal itself, and it causes poverty. It causes poverty, it causes being poor, it causes concealments and darkness. Then we need tzedakah. And that's the meaning of exile, golus, exile, poverty. We're lacking. The Shekhinah is in exile. The whole world is in exile. There's a concealment. How do we fulfill that? So the 14th represents a level where you give plenty, there's nothing lacking. So all the oir that is shayach la'olamais, that has a relationship to the world, any level, if it only has a relationship to the world that you can say that by not having it, you're missing something. If we're holding by the level of the 14th, it means we even have that. Because if you don't have that, then it's not die. You didn't give me everything that I'm lacking for. So you have to have everything that's possible, but it's still not considered wealth. 15th. So what happened by Shlomo HaMelech? By Shlomo HaMelech, the pasuk describes in Sefer, I think in Sefer Malachim, the pasuk says that in Shlomo HaMelech they were so wealthy, ein kesef nechshav klum, that silver was not considered valuable. Everybody used goldenware. Their dishes, everything was gold, because silver was nothing. There was that's ashiras. Physical wealth is a reflection of the spiritual energy of God that was then revealed in the world. That's the 15th generation. And that's really the 15th generation of Mashiach, where we're about to enter right now into explosion of wealth. Material wealth, like it says in Mashiach will come, and spiritual wealth. When that revelation comes, the 15th, then all chametz is automatic. The 15th, Pesach, chametz is destroyed. No chametz. We don't have to fight the chametz. The chametz is gone. No more evil in the world. When that revelation of the 15th. But we're saying earlier is that you can be mamshech that already in the 14th as well, but that we'll see. First day, that's the idea. So now, that's the difference between dalet, yud, zehu, daim, achsoiroi, whatever is lacking. Shenemar b'tzedakah, when it says that by tzedakah. Shezehu madregas ani, this is the madrega of a poor man. V'hu inyan lachma anya, this is called poor man's bread. So even if we're living in a state where we have everything in Golus now in America, we have everything, we're still poor man's bread. Because we still have, it's enough. Diachola avasana. Which word does it say in the Haggadah? I didn't notice this last time when I was preparing the class. It says lachma anya, the poor man's bread. What's the next word? Diachola avasana. We're holding on the second page. What's di? Page Shin Daled Mem. Shin Daled Mem. Turn over. Ha lachma anya, this is the poor man bread. D. What's D? Dalet Yud. D achola avasana that our families eat. But it's still lachma anya, it's still poor man's bread. Vehei umadregas ashir, but the hay is already the rich man. The hefresh beinayim, what's the difference between the poor man and the rich man? Yedua is no. The Indian dai machsoiroi, the Indian of dai machsoiroi lacking, milu yachasorin means that you're fulfilling what you're lacking. Hi hamshacha, what does it mean spiritually? You're drawing down mishoresh umakar heishtalshalos. Even if you're drawing down high levels of spiritual godly light, but if it's coming from the shoresh, from the root, umakar, and the source of ishtalshalos, of the evolving worlds, if it's coming from the source and the root of the evolving world, it means it has a relationship to the world. It's part of what's called dai, enough. It's part of the worldly existence. But what does ashirus mean, wealth? Ashirus hamshacha, but the real wealth is to draw down me'atzmus oirein soif, from the essence of the oirein soif, shalamaylam makar ishtalshalos, that's beyond the source of the ishtalshalos of worlds. That's above and beyond the source of the evolving element of worlds, the infinite light. And that's the idea of wealth, and that's the Gilui of Mashiach, when that's revealed. Higher than the world. And that's the 15th, that's the letter Hey. The Hine, now what does it mean, poor and wealthy? It doesn't, obviously it means more than just poor and wealth in material things. The real wealth is spiritual wealth. The Hine, for behold, ein ani ella bedas. That the real true meaning of ani, of being poor, is only in das. Chazal say that. The real idea of ani is when a person is lacking das, lacking knowledge, then they're really poor. The ein ashir, and there's no ashir, real wealth, ella bedas, only with wealth. Only bedas, only with knowledge. And what does it mean? So it's not like the ani doesn't have das and the ashir has das. The ani has das and the ashir has das, but these are two levels of das, two levels of connection. Das means to connect. You're knowing something. Two levels of knowledge, which means two levels of reality that you can live in. The Kiyudu'at is known. The Peseder Amidas Sefirot. Now he has to prove that there's two levels of das. Where do we see there's two levels of das? He says in the order of the way the Sefirot are standing. Yesh Beizei Fanim, there are two levels of how the Sefirot stand. Imem Zeh Tachazeh, if they're one beneath the other. Or they're in a state of channels. What's the difference? What does that mean? Sometimes there is a system in Kabbalah of setting up the Sefirot where you put Chachma, Bina, Das. No, you start with Keser, Chachma, or rather, Keser, Chachma, Bina, Chesed, Gevura, Teferes. When you have it in that system, then you don't count Das. You start with Keser, Chachma, Bina. If you do count Das, then you don't count Keser, but then you go Chachma, Bina, Das, Chesed, Gevura, Teferes. But there is another system of spheres that we're more familiar with. Chesed on right side, Gevura here, Teferes over here. In that state, Chachma is on the right, Bina is on the left, Das is in the middle. The difference between the two is reference to Das, that if you're putting them one under the other, then Das is under Chachma and Bina, on the Bina and on the Chachma. But if you set it up with Chachma over here and Bina here, then Das is directly under Keser. And that means it's a much richer Das, because the Das is receiving directly from Keser. Let's see. Ikeshem bechinas kavin, as he says, and there's two ways. One is that they're standing under Chachma and Bina. Ukeshem bechinas kavin, but when they're in a state of channels, hadas oy metachas hakeser. Then the das stands directly on the keser. So he says, what does that mean? Dihine das hu bechinas hiskashros. Das means that you bond with something. You connect with something, you really... Shemekasher, which bonds, u'mechaber elyon imatachten. The das has the ability to connect something that's higher with something that's lower. The kasher oy metachas chachmem bina, when the das stands beneath chachmem bina, hainu shamamshich mepchenas chachmo bina, it draws down from chachmo bina. U'mechaber hamoichen im amidos. The point of das is always to connect the intellect to the emotions. Das doesn't add to you more information. Das only makes whatever you're perceiving to be real. You connect to it to be, I'm connecting to it. I feel its reality. And therefore I'm responding to it. It's real to me. Without das, you can see all these things. You can hear it's information. It's not triggering a response. So das, because das makes you feel the other, feel the entity. If Chachma and Bina, if you have an order of Chachma, Bina, Das, it means that the Das is attaching the Chachma and the Bina. Because the way it works is Chachma is the point. It flows into Bina, which are the details. From there it goes into the Das, which is the ability to connect to it, and it gets transferred into the emotions, which are the Chesed. So that's why the Das is at that point. But in general, when it does that, that means that even though it's channeling and it's connecting, but it's only connecting from within the system, because it's starting with Chachma. Chachma is already part of the spheres, part of the system. Even though Chachma and Bina are spectacular, they're so gewalt, but still it's part of already the system of the worlds. But unlike when Das is standing directly under Keser, under the crown, Hakavanihi, we mean something very special. Tachas Pnimius HaKeser. When you put Das not under Chachma and Bina. Because really, he's going to say in a moment, if Das is under Chachma and Bina, it's also being Makabel from Keser. Because how does Chachma get its influence? Chachma gets its influence from Keser. So ultimately, if Chachma gets from Keser and Keser gets, and then Chachma passes to Bina, Bina flows to Das, so Das is also taking from Keser. The answer is, in that system, it's the external part of Keser. It's Keser, where Keser is already a source. Even though it's not Sefirot, it's a source for the Sefirot. But there's the other side of Keser, the upper side of Keser. The Keser that's not at all a source for Sefirot, it's just an expression of the Or Ein Sof of God Himself, of the Eibishter Himself. That's called Pnimius HaKeser, the inner part of Keser. So the system works like this: when you have Sefirot working like this, Chachma Bina Das, that means it's a very systematic flow from the external part of Keser to Chachma, from Chachma to Bina, from Bina to Das, and so on it goes down. So you're basically only channeling, you're connecting an energy flow, but it's all from within the system of the universe. It's part of the system of creation. But when the Das is not being blocked by the Chachma and the Bina, and the Das is in the center, directly on the Keser, it means you're pulling, the Das is connecting to, it's experiencing, it's feeling God Almighty Himself, the Eibishter Himself, not the Eibishter's light as it has been already allocated for creation, as it's part of the system, but the transcendental emes of the Eibishter, that's what's being connected. The worlds are in a state of deep intimacy with the Eibishter. That's the point. You're feeling God's omnipotence, Hashem's transcendence within you. You're capturing that on the deepest level. If it's standing on the Chachma and Bina, the Rebbe says, they're also receiving from Keser. But this is the Chitzonius, the external part of Keser. It's the root of the Ishtalshalos, of the evolving worlds. But when the Das is standing directly on the Keser, the internal element of Keser, V'zehu, and that's the reason why. The she'eina keser nimna hadas nimna. We know the system works like this. There's two, if you look in Svarim, if you look in Habad Svarim, you're always going to find, whenever they count 10 Sefirot, They count Chachma, Bina, Das. That's the Chabad, the way of looking at it. If you look in other books, like in Breslov and other places, other Kabbalistic writings, you'll find Keser Chachma Bina. The way they set the 10 Sefirot is Kachab, Keser. It's a system. It's two different systems in Kabbalah. Keser Chachma Bina, and then Chesed Gevurah Teferes. The Das is not mentioned. So how do you reconcile the two? The answer is, if you count Keser, you don't count Das. If you don't count Keser, you don't. But what is the deeper meaning? And why is Chabad Dafke, Hasidus Chabad, not counting Keser? Very simple. If you count Keser, the Keser that you're counting is not the real Keser. It's the lower part of Keser. It's the chitzonius of Keser. It's Keser as it's already a shorish for Sefirot. If you don't count Keser, it's because you're saying Keser is beyond, because you're recognizing the pneumius of Keser. But instead, you're putting in Das. And what Das is doing is, the Das is pulling from the Orein Soif Shalamayla, from the pneumius of Keser. It's not counted, because this level you can't count. It's not part of the system. It's completely outside the system. So it's not within the countable realm. But that's why Chabad Dafka. And why was Chabad? Because since Chabad Hasidus is all about bringing the essence of God down into this world. The main idea of Chabad is to mimamshech the Eibishter, and that's making for Hashem Atzmos, the Eibishter himself, a home in this world. So Chabad, Dafke Chabad doesn't count Keser, and counts Dafke Das, because it's through that bonding and through that Das that we're able to. But that Das, when Das is counted like that, so then let me put it this way, then the Das is not about connecting intelligence to the emotions. The Das goes much deeper than intelligence. It's about connecting to the infinite. It's about bringing the faith, the emunah, the transcendental emes of the Eibishter into a pneumiistic way. Like, people make a mistake and think Chabad is, a philosophy until knowledge. It's not what it is. You're working through your mind, but it's not the mind. It's exploring way beyond the mind. It's exploring the Ein Sof. It's exploring in the oiros that are completely not facilitatable into Kalim, and yet that very oir that's not facilitatable into Kalim, you're connecting to and you're bringing it into Kalim. That's the power of this system. So now we understand why there's two levels of Das. Ani bedas, poor Das, and Ashir bedas, rich Das. Chazal say, Ein ani ela bedas. These two levels of Das. When Das is counted instead of, when Das is not counted and you count Keser, so Das is there, but Das is hidden behind. Keser Chachma, that's considered poor Das. The Das is just taking the moichen and bringing it into the midot. It's only being mamshich the oirin seif hashayach la'olamais, the oir that's relationship to the world. You're trying to discover the godliness of creation and connecting to it, but you're not picking up on the oirin seif shalamayla mailam and oilamais. Because it's a memutza machaber, that's why it's not counted, because it's not an entity onto its own. But in this case, it is an entity onto its own, because from Chachma and Bina, you're not getting to that. Only through the Das is when you're attaching yourself to the Eibishter himself. So now let's see inside the Ikra Hefresh. Where are we holding here? Well, וכאשר הדס אוי מתחס הכסר, yes. וזדק שאין הכסר נמנה הדס נמנה. When kesser is not counted, das is counted. דהיינו בחינת פנימיוס הכסר, that's the innermost of kesser. שאין אוי נמנה, it's not counted בעניין הספירוס, it's not counted as part of the spheres. Hadas nimna, the das is counted. Shemamshich, it's counted. Why? Because it's bringing a real chidush. The chachma and the bina are not pulling from there, and the das is pulling from there. So that's why the das is counted. When you're being mamshich only, when das is standing between chachma and bina, and you're counting keser, So then you count Keser, Chachma, and Bina. You don't have to count Das, because Das is not giving you a Chiddush. The only thing Das is doing is it's helping you translate that energy into your emotional space. It's important, but it's not adding anything new. But if we're putting the Das up, and we're not counting Keser, because we're relating to a level of Keser that's not countable, and then Chachma and Bina have no access to that. Because Chachma and Bina can only pull from the Chitzonius of Keser, not from Pnimius of Keser. Only the Das can pull from Pnimius. So Das is Taka Chiddush, bringing something new. So Das is counted. And that's called wealthy Das, rich Das. And as you're going to see soon, that's the level of godliness that we can experience on the 15th day of Pesach. That was revealed by Yetzias Mitzrayim. That level is called Yom Rishon. And when you can access that, you can obliterate all chametz in the world. That's the level of Mashiach also. The level of Pnimius. In another Maayon we once learned last year, the Rebbe takes it much deeper. The Rebbe says that's Shlomo HaMelech. Mashiach is much higher than Shlomo HaMelech. Because in Pnimius HaKeser itself, which is called Atik Yomin, there is a Pnimius to that. It's called Pnimius Atik Yomin. And that's a level that Shlomo HaMelech didn't have, what Mashiach will have. And that's already much deeper and much higher. And the Rebbe says that's Chassidus in that Maayon. Meaning that's the Chassidish, that's the Rabbeim, our Rabbeim. They're pulling from Pnimius Atik, especially Mashiach Tzidkenu. Teraseh Shel Mashiach, that's Pnimius Atik. So on a whole different level. In any case, and that's the ultimate wealth. It draws down from Pnimius HaKeser. What does it mean, Pnimius HaKeser? Pnimius of Keser means the innermost Pnimius Va'atzmus Ein Sof, and the essence of God Almighty, of the Eibishter himself. V'zehu madreges Ashir B'das, and this is the level of being wealthy in Das. The Ani B'das, what does it mean, poor Das? Hu Adas Shemamshich Mepchina Seder Ishtalshalos. When the Das is drawing down from within the system, no matter how high it goes within the system, and believe me, this system is endless. You know, this week they're able to photograph a black hole. And how many? 800 million suns, something like that. I forgot the amount can fit into that black hole. You know what that is? The sun is 1,300,000 times the size of Earth. You know what it means? 1,300,000 times the size of Earth. Think about how long it takes you to drive to San Francisco. That's not a lot of Earth. That's hardly anything. And then longer, how big Earth is. And all land is just a tiny bit of Earth. The oceans are most of the Earth. And the vastness of Earth. And you say 2 Earths. Imagine taking 2 planet Earths and putting it together. 3, 4. When you say 1,000,000, we forget that there's 675, and then there's 1,014, then there is 3,009, and each one is a whole Earth. First day, what's going on over here? 1,300,000 Earths fit into the sun. 800 million, something like that, suns go into this black hole that they. And the black hole is one of the black holes that there is in the universe, whatever. You're talking about the vastness and the vastness and the vastness. And this is all the physical existence. We're not even beginning to touch the spiritual realms that are so. The Chassidus says how the Eibishter contracts and contracts to create the physical. Imagine the spiritual, higher, exponentially. But no matter where you're pulling from, no matter how high you're pulling from, it's all part of the system. And if it's part of the system, it's poverty. It's poor man's light. So the scientists are all excited in their discovery. It's all poor man's bread. What should they be excited about? Teraseh Shel Mashiach. That's going to be rich man's bread. That's pulling Pnimius Va'atzmos Orein Soif, the Pnimius and the essence of the Orein Soif, Shalamaylam Aseder Ishtalshalos. That's beyond the whole order. And that's the difference between 14 and 15. Now, once we've understood once he was explaining, how did he develop this whole idea? Because he said he wants to explain the difference between the 14th and the 15th. And he said 14 is die, die, which die, he says, is a poor man's appreciation. When a poor man is dreaming, what is a poor man dreaming? They're bringing actually I just heard on the news, they're bringing Fiddler on the Roof back here to L.A. They're bringing Broadway is bringing Fiddler on the Roof back to L.A. So a poor man thinks, if I was a rich man, right? He thinks that. He's all excited about being a rich man. But the true man, the poor man doesn't know what means a rich man. A poor man knows, if I only had plenty, If I had plenty, I'm able to pay my bills, I'm able to that doesn't understand what means rich. So the Rebbe is saying, die, the whole mindset of die is a poor man's mindset. Then there's ashirus, there's wealth. So 14 is related to the poor man's mindset. 15 is related to the Ein Sof, rich Ein Sof. Now he's going to explain that too is reflected in the two letters, and which letter changes from 14 to 15. The Yud doesn't change. The dalet changes to a Hey. So he's now going to show how the difference between poor and rich is in the dalet and in the Hey. Let's see. And this is also the difference between the dalet and the Hey. It says on Likutei Torah in the Maayon, Kisavoyu Aleretz, Unetatem you should plant. So it says in the name of the Ramaz. Parshas Vayera Daf Tzadik Zayin Amud Beis. The Daled, so he brings over this a Kabbalistic idea from the Ramaz, Ramoshe Zakusi. It explains that Dalet and Hey are both referring to Sfiras HaMalchus. Dal means poor. Dalid comes from the word dal, poor. Dalet is also dalet, a door. Malchus is the door, because Malchus is there's 10 Sefirot, and Malchus is the doorway between the divine attributes, between the godly realm and the worlds. Bria, Yetzir, and Asiyah is part of the worlds. How do you enter from Elokus to worlds to creation? The entrance way is through the dalet, through Malchus. Fine. Dalet symbolizes Malchus. The Hey also symbolizes Malchus. Where do we find the Hey symbolizing Malchus? Yud K Vav K, the latter Hey of the Yud K Vav K, the tetragrammaton. The Yud is Chachma, the Hey is Bina, the Vav is the 6 emotions, the Hey is Malchus. So Hey is also Malchus. So why is Malchus sometimes a Dalet? Merum is in a Dalet. And sometimes Malchus is Merum is in a Hey. Which one? Oh, no. So it depends. Well, we know. Malchus is poor. We said it. Malchus is the moon. Malchus is a recipient. Malchus is a makabel. She receives. So depending from where she's receiving from. When she's receiving from a lower level, then she's a dalet. Even when she has and the dalet is not bad. She can be in a situation where she's not lacking anything. Die. But since she's only receiving from the lower level, we'll soon see, that's when it's done. When she merits to receive from the higher level, then she becomes a Hey. So a Hey is much richer. Malchus is in a level of richness. As he's going to explain over here. Now, by the way, this fits very geschmack with what I've been speaking about the whole year, about the time that we're in right now. I was talking the whole time that Malchus is compared to a cup. When Mashiach comes, it says they're going to pass the cup around, and no one is going to want to bench, and David HaMelech is going to say, Lina levarech, I should bench. He's going to pick up the cup. So it says that Malchus is, why is David benching? Because David is Malchus. And Kois is Malchus, it's a cup. Kois is Gematria 86, which is the name of Elokim. Elokim is Malchus. It's the cup. But it says there's two cups. There's the Kois Shel Bracha of this world. And what does she hold? She holds all the blessings. Malchus is the cup that holds all the blessings for creation. But it says there's a difference between the Koshel Bracha in this world and the Koshel Bracha when Mashiach comes. In this world, David HaMelech, for instance, how long did he live? 70 years only. And even the 70 years wasn't his. He had to borrow it. Everybody had the poor man to give him the 70 years. He was supposed to die immediately when he was a baby. And Adam HaRishon gave him 70 years. Or Avram gave him, and then Yaakov and Yosef, they all chipped in and gave him years. It says Mashiach doesn't either have any life. And he begs God for life. But Mashiach says to Hashem, I don't want to receive life like David HaMelech. Do a charity campaign. Give me a little bit from him, a little bit from him. I don't want that. I want to ask life from you. I want to plug into the infinite outlet. Chayim Shol Mimcha from you. So the Tzemach Tzedek says that level where Mashiach is plugging in is Keser, Oirech, Reish Chaf Aleph. That's the infinite light. That's the level of becoming a Hey. That's exactly what we're talking about now. The dalet becomes a Hey. When the Koshel Bracha of Mashiach starts receiving the light of Keser, the Ein Sof, Reish Chaf Aleph, infinite. It's all this idea that we're learning about over here. Malchus can receive the lights designated to her as part of creation, or Malchus can receive the Orein Soif that's higher than creation. And that's the Koshel Bracha of Mashiach Tzidkeinu. And that's and I was talking about a lot, what's exciting about this year is that we just entered into the last 221 years of the sixth of the Friday of Elef HaShishi. This is the Zman of Mashiach. 221 years. We're inside the cup of Koshel Bracha. It's crazy. And that's that level. This is all this idea. Malchus is a cup. So he's explaining it over here. When you do it with Teferes, it says, Malchus is the woman. The woman is a keli to receive from who? From her husband. Who's the husband? The husband is Teferes. It's really the whole, follow me everyone here. It's really the whole Ze'er Anpin. Ze'er Anpin are the 6 emotions. Chesed, Gevura, Teferes, Netzach. But the main, the one who's really considered the husband, just like in the body. The right hand is the right hand. The main body is the torso, the center. So Teferes, which is the center, that's the main. That's why Rachel is Malchus. Who does she marry? She marries Yaakov. Yaakov is Teferes. So it says like this. In Teferes, he's going to explain what that means in a minute. There's 3 sets. There is there is Netzach Hod Yesod of Teferes. Every sphere has all the spheres. So Teferes itself has Chachma Bina Das, Chesed Gevura Teferes, Netzach Hod Yesod of Teferes. So when Malchus is receiving from the Netzach Hod Yesod, or even from Chesed Gevura Teferes of Teferes, the midos, or the action-oriented element of it, then Malchus is a dalet, from the lower parts of Teferes. When does Malchus become a Hey? Only when she starts receiving from the upper third of Teferes. Shlish ha'elyon of Teferes, which is the Chachma Bina Das of Teferes. When Malchus receives the Habad of Teferes, then what happens? Then she becomes a Hey. That's what he's explaining. And he's going to explain that in general, that idea of Chachma Bina Das of Teferes also means Ein Sof. It's beyond the limitations. It's the Ein Sof. Similar to what he said before from Pnimius HaKeser. Because we know that Teferes really is below Das, and Teferes also plugs into Keser, and in Keser itself, it goes into Pnimius. Keser also has, yeah. Everything is. Obviously, in Keser, the Sefirot are not pronounced, because Keser is Ein Sof, so you can't see it. It's a potential of Sefirot. Yes, there is. Yes, yeah. So now we see the dalet, and dalet is Kesha Malchus Mekabelos Mebchina Shlishe HaTachtoinim de Teferes. When Malchus receives from the lower thirds, two lower thirds of Teferes, that's when it's called a dalet. V'kavshe Mekabelos Gam Shlishe Elyon. But when Malchus is also receiving from the upper third of Teferes, Ozai he hey. Azai, then she becomes a hey. The kol midah yeshpa gimel shlishim, because every midah has 3 sections, 3/3. Shehen Habad, chagas nehi, chachma bin adas, chesed gevura teferes, netzach hoid yesoid. Ukemoy kein gam beteferes. Teferes also has these 3 sections. Omnom teferes eina midah mamish. Now, even though teferes is not really a midah, mamish, kemoy kol ha-midah is like all the other midahs. What's every midah? Shenam shachas davar ma. Chesed is something, you can define it. Kindness, love. Shachas chasadim, or gevura, strength. Our teferes, what's teferes? Hu sheklula mikol ha-midahs. Teferes is a synthesizer. That's what it does. It blends. That's why it's called beautiful. It doesn't have anything of its own, but it acts as the interface that interfaces the different spheres together and blends them. V'hainu. What does it mean? Hisparus be'eze prat midas. He's going to explain us so beautifully what are the 3 levels of teferes. He says teferes means generally you're beautifying yourself with something. Be'eza midah. Hisparus, you're beautifying yourself with a midah. V'yash teferes, for example, there is a beautification of netzach hod yesod. Netzach hod yesod are your powers that are more action-oriented. It translates things into doing, which is shezeh chutz liatzmusai. It's something outside of you. Kemoi, for example, hateferes ba'asiyah. When someone takes pride in something they did, in handiwork. Someone built a beautiful piece of furniture, a carpenter, and he has it covered up, and then he pulls off the shmata, and he goes. And everybody's, wow, that's just exquisite. Just the artsman, the craftsmanship, the design. Now he takes tremendous, he is now beautified. It's a certain sense of elevation. He feels elevated within himself by the masterpiece work that he just did. But that's teferes in what? In netzach hod yesod. Because netzach hod yesod is what you're producing outside of you. He produced that. Or an artist, a painting. Okay? It's a certain state of you become beautiful with the beautiful work that you've done. That he gets praised, umefar, and sheyase keli na, that he makes a nice keli, v'yafen. But because it's outside of him. The beauty comes from the beauty of how beautiful the work was. V'hagam, and even though it's not it. When we're looking at the keli, what are we amazed by? Not so much by if you're real chitzonius, you're seeing the beauty of the keli. But if you're a little deeper, you're seeing the talent of the craftsman, of the artist. So that's already not outside of him, it's inside. Yeah, but even craftsmanship is your potential to create outside of you. That's what artistic abilities are. The artist to project something, to be able to produce something magnificent. Yeah, what?
What you just said, it's about first you was mentioning about okay, this is a beautiful painting. Second, you was saying okay, maybe it's beautiful or not beautiful, but the meaning of what it's painting, this is the art here, this is the beautiful.
That's the artist, and what is this meaning? That's why when people explore paintings, eventually, if they're going deeper, they start exploring the life of the artist. What brought him to make these paintings? Who is he? Who is she? Who is it? And even though you're mefoer, you're beautifying the power of the maker, nevertheless, the way a person expresses himself in something they produced. It's at a distance from them. It's outside of them. In contrast to what? He's going to give it in a contrast. How about if a person becomes complimented and praised by something that's much closer to him. Kamoi, someone who's a magnificent singer. And they become beautiful. I'm not talking about over here haughtiness. No, someone has a talent. They sing magnificently beautiful. And when people go over to them and compliment them, it's a much deeper compliment than even artwork that you've done. It's because art is still outside of you. This is, it's your voice. It's like, wow. It's a deeper connected to the person. Or the person is beautiful. Right? They're a model. They're beautiful. They themselves are beautiful. Okay, it's even though we're dealing with beauty of the body, but still, it's still a shvach in their beauty of something that's related more to who they are, not to what they produce. Or the kosher b'yofi hamidais. Here's something obviously much deeper, is when you're complimenting someone's beautiful character traits. Someone who's just a beautiful person, and you're describing their midot, their character. Shalom. This is a beautification that's much closer to the person. But then there's a higher beauty. When a person is being praised on their intellect, on their mind. This is even closer to them. When you praise someone based on their mind, it creates a very deep arousal of that emotion. It really develops. The essence of the midah of Tiferes is touched, because you're praising someone in a very deep element in them, which is their Habad, their intellect. So we can understand that in the attribute of Tiferes, which is this beautification, there is external and internal and internal. The Tiferes in the three levels of Tiferes. There is the sense of Tiferes, of beautification, in the Netzach Hod Yesod. And that's when we pray, and that's when we praise Hashem on His handiwork. We say Mar Rabu Masecha Hashem. Al Kol Shevach Maaseh Yadecha, the deeds of Hashem's hands. We take a look at the magnificence of creation. The whole Brias v'Yishavas ha'olamos, because all the creation and all the coming into being of the worlds, Hu B'chinas Maaseh Yadecha, is only the work of the Eibishter's hands. U'Lamaylam is then even higher than that. Masha Kosov, there's sometimes in Shir Hashirim, we praise our husband, the Kala, the bride, the Jewish people. Praise God, we want to hear your voice. Ki koilech orev, your voice is pleasant. Umarech nava, and your appearance is beautiful. So it's a different kind of a praise. It's a praise more on koil. But I think this pasuk Hashmieni as koilech is God speaking to Knesset Yisroel. It's not we speaking to Hashem. Show us your voice. Hashem says to us, Hashmi'ini, you show me as koilech. I don't think He means it. He's just bringing the idea that you find in praise, that you're praising someone in their voice. In Torah. Hashem is praising us, but obviously that applies to God's voice, which is the most magnificent beauty that you can imagine. Umarech Nav, and how beautiful He is. B'eskalolus hamidos, the beauty of God and the integration of all the midos of Him. Or v'teferes the Chabad. There is praise when we praise God's mind. And where do we find that we praise God's mind? We turn over the page, Shin Memhei. Hu inyan listakol, it's when we gaze b'yakara de malka, in the glory of the King. In which way? Teferes chachmas haTorah. We're the beauty of the wisdom of the Torah. We're blown away by the chachmas of the Torah's infinite wisdom. Beklalis, and in general, inyan agimel shlishim de Teferes, the 3/3 of Teferes, who inyan, it's the same idea of hatlas almin de isa bezoar, of the 3 worlds that are recorded, that are stated in Zohar. Shlach taf kufnun ches amad aleph. In Zohar Shlach taf kufnun ches amad aleph, it says shekasav Ramaz, that the Ramaz, again Ramosha Zakusi says, The general range of all worlds, of the whole system, is divided in these three groups. What are they? If we take a complete snapshot, if we take a whole picture of the entire evolving realms of worlds, we can divide them in general into three categories. Olamais Biyah, the three Bria, Yetzir, and Asiya, which are the three worlds of creation. They're all considered the lowest world. Atzilus is the next level, the second, and the infinite worlds that transcend Atzilus, that's the third level. But what do you see from here? That the upper part of Tiferes corresponds to the Olamais Ein Sof that are higher than Atzilus. What is he trying to dig at? Where is he going the whole time? He's going to one Inyan to explain that the upper third of Tiferes is exponentially, infinitely, and endlessly greater than the lower parts of Tiferes. So when Malchus is receiving from the two lower thirds, it's a dalet, it's poor, because it's receiving the lights that are related to creation. When Malchus is receiving from the upper third of Tiferes, similar to what we spoke earlier, like receiving from the innermost of Keser, then it's called a hay. And then it's rich. She's rich, she's not poor anymore. But Olam Atzilus, and then the second level is Olam Atzilus. And then there's the worlds of Ein Sof that are higher than Atzilus. The Tiferes, and this is the third dimension of Tiferes, the Aina Amshacha, which is the flow from the Oirein Sof that transcends Atzilus. And there's the difference between a dalet and a hay. The dalet who Amshacha mepchenas Atzilus. Dalet is drawing down only from Atzilus. It's only filling what's lacking in Biyah. It's giving the Bria, Yetzir, and Asiya what they're lacking. You're giving them their source of Atzilus. Over there he explains that that's mainly what the Aves were drawing down. Avram Yitzchak, it says, where do you see that? It says, Ve'era al Avram vel Yitzchak vel Yaakov B'Keil, in the name, which name did God reveal to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? B'Keil Shakai. What is the name Shakai? Die. Enough. Die, what's die? Plenty. Why is it plenty? But Shmi Hashem, but Yud Kei Vav Kei, I didn't reveal. What's that? That's Torah and Mitzvahs. Torah and Mitzvahs brings us down, reveals in this world the Or Ein Sof that is completely beyond the worlds. The others didn't. They were connecting. They were bringing in the world what's lacking. It's the level of the 14th, not the level of the 15th. Enough. But the hay, when it's drawn from the essence of the Or Ein Sof, that's beyond Atzilus, and that's wealth. Now that we understand the difference between the 14th and the 15th, he's now going to say, now let's start explaining the difference between Biur Chametz and Bedikas Chametz. And then we're going to line them up and understand why Bedikas Chametz you can do on the 14th. But the Biur Chametz belongs to the 15th, even though we do it on the 14th, but it really belongs to the 15th, because you can extend the 15th into the 14th. But really, it belongs to the 15th. So he's going to start explaining now what means to be in Egypt, Mitzrayim, and what means to go out of Mitzrayim. And Biur Chametz is part of going out of Mitzrayim. We have Koyach. Anybody have Koyach still? You guys are alive? Don't worry about him. He's good. He hasn't been in such a good place in a long time. As long as you're okay, I'm going. Rabbi the Indian, the explanation of the matter is Tzarech lahav in Indian Yetzias Mitzrayim. We have to understand, you know what's a shame? You see this? It's a big fat book. You just have a few copies. These books sit in the shelves over there. No one opens them up. I say, no, so much light, so much light. We just learned a page. Take a look what's going on over here in a half a page. The whole world is waiting for these secrets. Everybody needs this. And the explanation of the matter is, we need to understand the idea of Yetzias Mitzrayim. So to go out of Mitzrayim, we first have to know what Mitzrayim is. You can't go out of something before you know what it is. Then you can know what you have to get out of. And how do you know what Mitzrayim is? Look at its name. Everything is in the name. Such a cool system that everything, you want to know what it is? Just examine its name. The name is its truth. Only in Hebrew, because only Hebrew is the essence of everything. So the Hebrew name of stuff, that's the real thing. You take a look at the word Mitzrayim, you get the word Meitzar, me. The first letters are Meitzar. Meitzar means constriction. What's constricted? Me is constricted. It's actually spelled Yam. But if you take the word Yam, Yud Mem, and you turn them around, you get me. So what is constricted is me. So the Rebbe is going to explain being stuck in Egypt means being stuck in the world, not being able to find God. That's what it means, being stuck in Egypt. The worlds are so choking, the worlds are so constricting, you're not seeing. What do you mean? What do you mean you're not seeing God? Where's God? God is not anywhere. You don't see him, so how do you expect him to see him? It's not supposed to be that way. The pasuk says, "Su'u marem enechem," lift up your eyes. Su'u, the verse. Su'u mar, lift up your eyes. Uru'u, and you will see me bara ele. The pasuk. You will see who created these. You will see uru'u. You will see me bara ele, who created these. So what's ele? Ele is the world. Ele is the cosmos. Ele is the galaxies. Ele is the trees, the grass. The 8 billion people on the planet. Ele is the skyscrapers. Ele is the clouds. Ele is everything that exists. That's Ele. Our entire reality of creation. But you have, but me bara Ele, who created? The me is the secret. Who created? Now you would say, okay, we don't know. It's hidden. The pasuk says, "Su'u marem enechem," lift up your eyes. Uru'u, and you will see. You can actually get to know me bara Ele. But if you're in Mitzrayim, Meitzar me. The me is constricted. You can't see the me. You're stuck in the Ele, in the world, and there ain't no me on the horizon. And if you don't have the real me, you end up with the other me, and that's me. You're stuck in me, myself, and I. When you don't see the me, the who, the true. See, that's what English does. English is the klippa. It takes the me. It takes the me, who the Eibush is. Re'u me, because you find the me and it replaces it with me. But after thousands of years, eventually you get bored with the stupid me. How long can you be busy with that same me? Right? And then you start saying, so what's the deeper meaning in life? Is to find the true me. Me bara ele. Be it Indian, yeah. So, if it says in the pasuk, "Su'u marem enechem," lift up your eyes. And you will see me bara ele. See, the way you read it is, usually you read me bara ele, who, you'll see who created this. But Chassidus learns that you'll see me, that the level called me, bara ele, created these. The Isa B'Zayar, it says in the Zayar Bagdama, Dav Beis Amid Aleph. Now we're coming to another secret. What's the next secret? How did God create the world? With which name? Hashem created the world. Bereishis bara Elokim. What's Elokim? Elokim is Elemi. The word Elokim, Aleph line, it's not Elokim, it's Elo, which you can't say. So it's him. So it's, again, him. Ele, it's Aleph Lamed Hey Yud Mem. So it's Ele Yud Mem. So the me and the Ele are again together. That's Elokim. But, because the question is like this, if it's so obvious, if Hashem created the world and the God says, raise your eyes up a little bit and see me bara Ele, obviously it must be that the me is very accessible. You can find the me bara Ele, the one who created, the who that created should be accessible. So why don't we see him naturally? The answer is because when the Eibishter created the me and me bara Eila, he took the Eila, he took the me and the Eila and he switched it around. Instead of me bara Eila, he made Eila me. He put the Eila first and the me behind it. What that does is that the world becomes the more obvious reality, and the power creating the world, which is the me, becomes obscured and hidden. The name Elokim is the name of concealment. So how does it conceal? It makes that the Eileh, the stuff that we are constantly seeing, all the materials of the world and the forces of nature and the rules of nature and the regulations of nature and the predictability of nature and all this patterns and so on and so forth, cover up on who? On me. So if in the pasuk if it would be me bara Eila, then we would have a world that the moment you look at it speaks to you of God who created it. But since Hashem didn't create the world through me bara Eila, He created the world through the name of Elokim, He scrabbled it a little bit. He put the me in the back, and we always know in a word, the rule in a word is that the first letters of a word dominate over the latter layers. So if in one word, whatever, the first letter is the most dominant letter, second letter gets weaker and weaker, the last letters are the weakest. So if Hashem slipped the me as the last two letters of the name of Elokim, means they're the weakest, meaning the least obvious in the reality. You could find him, but for that it has to be already Sa'umarim. Lift up your eyes to a higher place. Learn Chassidus. It's going to lift you up to a higher place. You can see me bara Eila who created. Or else you're stuck in Elokim. Now Elokim is bad, but even worse than Elokim. Elokim is not bad. Elokim is the Eibishter. But Elokim is let's put it this way: it's challenging. It's challenging. But worse than the challenge of Elokim is Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is when it becomes so constricted that the Yud Mem becomes completely buried and hidden because the constrictions of the Meitzar. The intensification of the name of Elokim till it becomes Mitzrayim, the Yud Mem is hidden. So we have three levels. Mi bara Eila when you can see it. Next level, Elokim, where it's concealed, but at least you can find it if you're looking. Mitzrayim, it's almost impossible to find. Constrictions of exile. Huh? What? I'm just showing you in general these three. Yeah. So that's the idea. That's what he's going to develop over here. We need to understand what's the difference between mi bara Eila ubein Shem Elokim and the name of Elokim shekoil beis tevois mi Eila that includes these two words mi and Eila. So now he explains. Eila zehu Eila toldos shamayim va'aretz. When it's, let's first see who's Eila. Eila is what? The world, like it says in the pasuk. Eila toldos hashamayim va'aretz. These are the offspring of heaven and earth. The shamayim va'aretz, the heaven and earth, v'chol toldosayim, and all their offspring, which means everything that comes from them and everything that comes along with them is P'chinas mi bara Eila. They're all part of the Eila that mi bara, the mi creates the Eila. For Inyan who, and the idea is as follows: the l'chure no muvan. At first glance, it's not understood. Masha habriya nikra yesh me'ayin. We need to examine why is creation called something from nothing. How can you say creation is from nothing? Everything comes from you. So creation is something from God. What does it mean, something from nothing? The Ein Soif, hu yesh amiti. And can you call God nothing? The opposite. The Ein Sof is the true being. He's the true yesh. So therefore it should be, if anything, it should be ayin meyesh. That God made nothing from something. He's the real something. We can't say that we're nothing, so because we get all insulted. So let's say at least we shouldn't insult God. We should say it's yesh. We're something. Meyesh from something, from Him.
You said that from dark and light.
What? Bara Choshech.
So the light is created from Choshech.
Yeah, obviously you're getting ready to the answer, but he's first asking the question. Omaro Inyan Maayon, why is it called Maayon from nothing? Va'agam d'chsiv, and even though it says in the pasuk, Bihi Baram, when he created them. Chazal learn out, Eile told Shamayim va'aretz, Bihi Baram, when he created them. So Chazal say you have to read it Behei Baram, with the Hey Hashem created them. Behi Baram, Behei Baram. Asya Kalila, it's a light letter, the lays by Mashasha that has no substance. Zagufa tzarech lahavin. This itself we need to understand. Va'aloi mimcha hakoil. Pasuk says, from you is everything. Zagufa tzarech lahavin. This itself we need to understand. Va'aloi mimcha, if the pasuk is from you is everything. So what is he trying to answer? When you say Behei Bada means that what Hashem used to create the world was only one letter, one breath. That's why you can say the worlds are made up of nothing, because they're made up of how much energy did God expend to create the world. How much of His power? Only one breath, one Hey. And from all the letters, the Hey is the easiest to say. It has the least power in it. And therefore, we say it's the nothing of God. So, but he's asking, this need to understand. But because if everything comes from you, what does this mean that the world is created from nothing? The idea is as follows. The Hine Ksiv, it says in the Pasuk, Gadol Hashem u'mohulol miyoid. God is great. We say it every day in Ashrei, and very much praised. Be'ir Elokeinu, in the city of God. So Chazal learn out an interesting thing. Ein Masaihu Gadol, when is the Eibishter great? Kishahu be'ir Elokeinu, when he's in the city of God. You hear that? You hear that, Pirush? Gadol Hashem, Hashem is great. Be'ir Elokeinu, in the city of God. When is God great? When he comes into the city of God. I mean, before he's in the city of God, he's not great. He's going to, what does that mean? That means that a builder is not great until what? Until he has to build the city. Then he's great. You know, an artist is not great until he produces a few paintings. A singer is not great until they produced a few albums. You have a talent until you don't execute those talents and put them into something, then no one knows it. You might be the most unbelievable singer in the world, but it's an unknown. So when we say Gadol Hashem means your greatness gets known only when you come in Ir Elokeinu, into the city of God. What does it mean, the city of God? So the city of God is referring to Sfiras HaMalchus. Wow. Here's my second epiphany of the night. Well, I'm very excited about the fact that we started saying this chapter 119 in Tehillim. I'm giving a lot of people hard work because I'm inspiring Baruch Hashem lots. Today, Rabbi Shea Staub contacted me to give me a thank you. He sent me a WhatsApp thanking me. That he said, my daughter is sitting on the couch and she's saying chapter 119 in Tehillim. It's the longest chapter in Tehillim. And I said to myself, at least there's someone in my house that's Makusher. Makusher means connected to the Rebbe. Because why 119 in Tehillim is because it's the Rebbetzins kapitel. Every week, Chabad Chassidim have a minute to say every day the kapitel of your birthday. So if let's say you're at whatever age, you're 30, you're 37, so you say chapter 38. The year you go every day. But since we feel very deeply connected to a Rebbe, so we say the Rebbe's kapitel to everything. But being that Chassid feels that the Rebbe is his father, so the Rebbetzin is his mother. So you say your mom's kapitel too. So therefore Chassidim also say mother. I never said the Rebbetzins kapitel. This year I was at the Ohel visiting the Rebbe that night when it was the Rebbitzon's birthday. So I figured I was by the Rebbe. I said, I'm going to go say hi to the Rebbitzon. So I came out and said hello to her, and she said, hey, what's with my kapitel? It's my birthday. She didn't tell me that, but I felt that way, so I felt that way. So I said, okay, I'm going to say it. So I stood outside and I said it. After I said it, I got this like mashigas in my head, I should say it every day. And I think it has to do with some people have a crazy nature that they like to inflict pain upon themselves. It's like when you eat, not jalapenos, what's the next level up? The orange ones, what are they called? Come on, you know what the orange ones are called? Habaneros. So some people just make themselves crazy. They eat everything that will torture them. They like it, but they like the pain. They like the pain. So that's why I guess must have been my reasoning. I like the pain, so I have to say every day. But now it's not painful. It's my most joyous time of the day. I get to say the chapter 90. So I have all kinds of explanations why it's getting me so excited. But right now I have a whole new level of explanation. Chapter 119 has chapter 119, Kuf Yotes. 119 has all the Aleph Beis, each one times 8. It has 8 psukim Aleph, 8 psukim Beis, 8 psukim Gimel, 8 psukim Dalet. Each one. Ashrei is only one pasuk each. Here's 8 verses of Aleph, 8 verses of Beis. That's why it's so long. So I was thinking that what it really means is that since we're ready, we need to receive in the vessels, in the containers, we need to receive already the light of Mashiach. Why? Because we're coming out now of the 770s. We spent an entire decade in 770. The whole world was sitting inside 770. No one even realizes that. It's gewaldig. I just not realized. See, another thing I just got. 770 is the center of the world. From there, light comes out to the entire world. The Rebbe is the Nasi, finished. That's it. 770, the center of creation, the center of the world. Right. Now, not everybody, some people don't want to come to 770 because they don't realize. So what does the Abish to do? He makes that 9 years ago, it became 5,770. So no matter where you are, unless you exit time, no matter where you are, you're inside 770. I never thought about that. That's awesome. The whole entire world sits in 770. How long have we been sitting in 770? For 10 years. From 770, 771, 772. And now, and that's why the world changed so much in the last, because in 770, who's the boss in 770? The boss in 770, the Rebbe is Balabas in 770. This is great. Can't believe. I'm so happy I didn't quit. See, I was ready to leave then. I never had such revelations in the middle of a Maimar. It's unbelievable. The whole world is sitting, that's why the Rebbe is the boss of the whole world, because the whole world is inside 770. He's the boss of 770. So he's changing, he's making whatever he wants in the world in the last 10 years. That's why Obama thought, and Hillary Clinton thought, and this one thought, and Mueller thought, and this one thought, and that one thought, they're all out the window. They're all, nothing. Whatever you want. The Golan Heights, ours. Yerushalayim, ours. Bibi Netanyahu is prime minister. The whole left in Israel, Caputo. I mean, the whole thing, whatever needs to happen in the world, Rubashkin out of jail. Right? Everything that needs to happen, the Rebbe is Balabas of the ganze Welt, because the whole world is inside 770. Soif kol soif, 770 is what? Is creation. The Rebbe says it's the perfection of creation. It's like the number 14. It's within creation, perfection. Number 8, number 8, that's the infinite light. We're now ready to enter into the 8s. It's going to be 5,800. Tafshin Pei coming. And that's already the light of Mashiach. So who runs in the front? The Rebbe, she's the first. So that's why she's already saying chapter 119. 119 has every parak of the Aleph Beis 8 times. What does that mean? The Aleph Beis, what's the world made up of? What's all of creation made up of? It's made up of the letters. But we have to bring the light of Mashiach into the letters, into the entire universe. And that's the Rebbetzon's kapitel. So I I got excited. This was my idea. I got all excited. So when I went to Toronto and I spoke to a girls' school. And the girls got so excited that Rabbi Shestab tells me today that his daughter is a week later, she says, and she's still saying Kuf Yotes. And she told him, it's only because Rabbi Wolf inspired me with Kuf Yotes. So this is Gavaldik. This is the number 8. But that's not the epiphany I had now. Now I had the epiphany about the whole world being inside 770. That's why the whole world is. Wow, this is so good. This is good. Okay. But what I had the epiphany before, which is Gavaldik, is that the world of Mashiach needs to now be constructed. We had 2 worlds. We had the world till now, the world of Mashiach. So when you say Kuf Yotes now, you're basically saying all the letters of the Aleph Beis, and we're all saying it now, and you're basically creating the future world of Mashiach now. The letters of the Aleph Beis that you're saying in Kuf Yotes every day is helping, and we're all saying is helping create that Mashiach Diga world that soon is or soon going to enter in, with the energy of 8 in the letters, because he's going to explain it right now. That when is God great? The Eibishter's power is gewaldig, it's strong, it's infinite, but the Poyel Mamish, it's not worth anything until what? Until he does something with it, right? What are you going to do with it? The guy has $1 billion sitting in the bank. Thank you. Once he starts, he builds a nice building on this, and he builds a thing. In other words, you see what he constructed, what he built. So it says that God has a gazillion, he's a gazillionaire. Very nice. Do something. When God created the world, that's called when Hashem takes his energy and puts it into the world of speech. Because where does creation take place? Where does creation take place? Huh? Through what? Through God's speech. So before Hashem puts his energy into words, it's all abstract energy. It's gewaldig energy, but it's abstract energy. It's not going anywhere. The words of the Eibush has to go into speech. Once it goes into speech, it constructs and it builds. The world of speech, that's Malchus. That's why I'm connecting it to the Rebbetzin. It's Malchus. It's the feminine world. That's the world of speech. So therefore, the Eibishter's power goes into Malchus. The Eibishter becomes a knacker. In Yiddish you say, you become a knacker. When are you a knacker? You're a chevra, you did something. So how do you see that? It says in the Pasuk, the Zohar says, a king without a queen is not a king. Ver bistu, was bistu. Nothing. You don't have a queen, you have nothing. Malka beloy matrenusa lav iu malka. Isn't that a powerful statement in the Zohar? A king without the queen is not a king. In other words, there's a whole bunch of potential, but it's not doing anything. It needs to be productive. It needs to do something. How does it do something? When the Eibishter's energy goes into the word of Malchus, the Eibishter gives it to his wife. He gives it to the Shechina. She talks out a storm. She creates the cosmos. When she talks, bungo, she creates a whole world. Now we know his greatness. How does she create it? With his energy. It's like the woman, she spends his money. And she makes everything. She made the house beautiful. She spent his credit card. The money comes from the Eibush there, but he's giving it to the Shechina. She already spends it. She speaks the words, creates the world. That's the meaning of Godol Hashem. When does God become great? Umohula. When is he praised? Be'ir Elokeinu. When he comes into the city of Elokim. Elokim is Malchus. When he comes into her city, that means he channels his energy to her. She produces a world with words, and that's called a city. Because a city is made up of what? A city is made up of neighborhoods. Shikunim. And neighborhoods are made up of what? Streets. And streets are made up of what? Homes. And homes are made up of a bunch of rooms. And rooms are made up of walls. And walls are made up of stones. So really, what's the entire city? A whole bunch of stones organized in a what? What's a city? A bunch of stones organized in a very developed place. That's called, stones is speech. Speech are like, our letters are stones. Letters are stones. So when you talk a sentence, it's like creating a whole room. Because in that room in that sentence can reside, what makes a house special? Stones are useless. But when you put them together in a special way, it can become a home. It can become a facility where a person can live. When you take letters, just a bunch of gimel, zayin, ches, just say a bunch of letters without anything, and it means nothing. But when you organize it in the right way, it becomes a facility where a concept can be. So God does that. He takes the words, puts them together, and creates a magnificent universe with all kinds of creations. And now we know, Gadol Hashem, the Eibishter is great. When he comes down, Be'ir Elokeinu in her city. That's it. So I'm getting me excited because the world of Mashiach now needs to be constructed. And the Rebbetzin hit the capital. She is the Matrinusa. She hit the capital where there are 22 letters 8 times. So that's like mamish, unbelievable. That's building Mashiach's world already. That's why I'm excited to say Kuf Yotes every day, okay? Good. And anybody listening, start saying it. First thing in the morning, grab the Tehillim before you do anything else. Say, I'm going to create letters today, Mashiach letters, filled, saturated with number 8 light, with infinite light of the Geulah. Okay. Now, let's see inside. The Hinix, if it says in the Pasuk, Gadol Hashem, Mo'olam Yoed Be'er Elokeinu, Emesehu Gadol. When is the Eibishter great? Kishuhu Be'er Elokeinu, when he's in the city of God. Ir Elokeinu Olam Adibur. Ir Elokeinu is the world of speech. Ekamoya, Ir, just like a city, Shimu Kibitz Batim is from a gathering of homes. Harbe. What makes a city a city? When you put together a bunch of houses. But you're not allowed to look when it's over. Mendel, that's the rule. Yeah, that's the rule. You're not allowed to look where it's over. You just have to sit and wait till it finishes. You can also hit download stop. One day someone's going to pull a gun on me and say, stop. Ubay bekibutz avanim harba ubayes umikibutz avanim harba, and a house is from many stones. Kach oisi ois nikra avanim b'sefer Yetzirah. Letters are called stones in Sefer Yetzirah. Liyoisam chenas doimim, because a letter doesn't grow. A letter is a fixed entity, like a stone that doesn't change. Ushtei avanim boinois shtei batim. With 2 stones, you can build 2 homes. Kabbalistic, because you can create 2 words. Like the word Aleph and Beis can be Av, father, or you switch it around the other way, it's Beis Aleph, Bo, come. So you see. Shloisha avanim boinei shisha batim. Once you have 3 letters, the Sefer Yetzirah says you can create 6 homes. 6 different words from 3 letters. V'hamashal the bayis who kamoy mekibutz harba avanim. What's the mashal of a house? It's when you gather many stones together, shanasa bayis, it becomes a house. It's a big chidush, it's a big novelty. Shanasa moishav la'adam, a person can live there. Scattered stones are not fitting for a person to live. But when you gather them together and they become a house, this is a dira, this is a home to a person. Same as also when you gather a bunch of letters into one word, then these letters together create and hold a certain idea. Because scattered letters, scattered letters are nothing. They don't contain anything. Only when you organize them together, for example, take the word Baruch. Baruch means blessed. But when does it mean blessed? Only when the Beis, the Reish, the Vav, and the Chaf are organized in that. But what happens if you run away with the Beis, she runs away with the Reish, and everybody puts it somewhere else, and then I just find the Beis, it means nothing. Only when it's organized in this way, it's set up that now it became a home for an idea, because Baruch is an idea, a blessing. You see what the Rabbeim are all about? Every single time in Chassidus they want to speak this concept, they use the word Baruch. Why? Because if a Rebbe is going to create a word, and explain how that word is a concept, what's the first thing that comes to a Rebbe's mind? What word does he want to create? A blessing. A Rebbe is all about producing blessings. I mean, the Rebbe could have used anything. He could have used any letter, any word to explain this. That a concept is not, it doesn't go into the word unless. But I know in the Chassidus, and they always say it in Yiddish, gebenched. In all the gebenched, gebenzt. But they always bring it. Why? Because if a Rebbe is a chance to create words and create something in the world, he creates a blessing. When they're together. And when you collect a lot of words together, it contains a whole inyan. Then it's more than just one word. You put these words together and have a whole rich concept. The master of the world that ruled before everything was created. It's an idea. There was a master of the world that was king already before anything was created. That's a concept. From just these letters, I don't know how many letters do you have over here. I would say about 18 letters. And from those 18 letters, you can have such a rich idea that you can contemplate for years. This concept, right? So what does it mean? So that's the idea that letters create that's the idea of an ear, a city. A city is a compilation of homes, which homes are made up of stones. So a city represents a bunch of words. Ir Elokeinu, God's city, means God's power of speech that produces all the words that are the DNA of all of creation. Ir Elokeinu Klaus, Bechinas Dibur Elyon, the general power of divine speech. The Klaus Adibur, and why is it called Elokeinu? Because here we understand. Because Elokim is the power of Malchus. The name is Elokim. Mi bara Ela, the power that creates Ela, the power that's Elokim. Hu adiburu shem Elokim. Kamo shekasav ayoymer Elokim. That Amira, speech, related to Shem Elokim. V'ze'in ir Elokeinu, this is the idea of the godly city. But hold it. But why is it called Elokeinu? It should be called Gadol Hashem Mahulal Me'oid Be'ir Elokim. Why Elokeinu? And the answer is, what does God have in this world? What's God's purpose in creation? Only us. Hashem's inner purpose in creation is the Jewish people. Our God. God creates the whole world. But in truth, the main thing is for the sake of the Jewish people. Just like simply what's called Ir Elokeinu. Which city is Ir Elokeinu? Yerushalayim is Ir Elokeinu. Why? Yerushalayim is separated from all cities in the world. It's not LA, it's not San Francisco. It's not New York or what is it over there? Why am I fixed on one city that I want to say now? You're going to laugh when you hear which city I want to say, but there's one city that I want to say right now. Hold it. And it's not coming to my head. It's in Louisiana. What's that city in Louisiana? No. You know what I'm talking about. They have this big parade there. New Orleans. But Yerushalayim is separated. Yerushalayim is separated from all the cities. Why? That's God's city. There's the Beis HaMikdash, there's the Shechina dwells. So the Jewish people are also separated. Muvdalim, they're separated from the rest of the world. Shehem Kelim Yidden Dafka are Kelim Rahashra Shechinasa Yizbarach. The Shechina dwells in the Jewish people. Mendel, don't worry, Mendel. You can leave if you're you're tired. Yeah. I'm up to Shin Mem Hey. Shin Mem Hey. If you bring it to me, I'll show it to you. Like it says in the Chazal, even though I'm a God to the whole world, Lo yachadati shmi ela aleichem. I've only designated my name on you. The nishmas Yisroel al yedei eisias haTorah v'oisias hatfilah. Right over here. Yeah. Al yedei oisias haTorah v'oisias hatfilah. The Jewish people, through the letters of the Torah and the letters of Tefillah, they are a seat to God. So they're the city. They're the ones Hashem dwells in them. Just like Yerushalayim. There are many cities, but God has one city. There's a Beis HaMikdash. So too amongst the world, who does the Eibush to dwell in? Inside the Jewish neshamas. Amongst every single Yid. When it says the Eibishter is great and very praised, Be'ir Elokeinu, in the city of God. Shal Yedei Ir Elokeinu, through the city of God, Nikar Gedulas Hashem. Is recognized the Gedul of the Eibishter. The Inyan Gadol Hashem. What does it mean, Gadol Hashem? Hu Kemoi Marabu Masecha Hashem. The Inyan of Gadol Hashem is, what's the idea of Gadol Hashem? Why is it Gadol Hashem only Be'ir Elokeinu? He says simple. Because the inyan of Gadol Hashem is like the idea of Marabah, that we're able to see it and we're able to say, wow. Marabah Masech Hashem Beriboy Anevraim, so many creations. Ma'oid. Beprate Doimein Tzameachai, so many inanimate objects, different types of minerals, so many different. Tzameach, wow. Vegetation, Chai, incredible. Shen ad ein shir, literally there's no end. Ubefrat b'malachim elyonim, and particularly when we take into consideration also the spiritual angels. Machna Michael, the camp of Michael, Kuf Pei Elef Machnois, 180,000 camps. Machna Gavriel, and the camp of Gavriel, Kuf Nun Vav Elef, 156,000 camps. Elef alafim yeshamshuni, thousands and thousands serve the Eibishter, myriads, millions. V'kol zayis chalkos u'mishem Elokim. Only the name Elokim does that. That what? Chops up this simple, indivisible life into these tiny little pieces to create all these various combinations, to create so many different creatures. Every creature is different than the other because the energy is different than the energy, because it's coming through different letters and different combinations. That's all from the name of Elokim. Shehu Lashon Rabim. And that's why Elokim is the only name of God that is in the plural. Because it's it's divine powers, the power of divinity that's different in every creature. Elokim Kedoshim, a holy Elokim. Kedoshim. It doesn't say Kadosh. Kedoshim. Who Acheshavos. Now, even though it's Elokim, that's all these words. But as I said earlier, Elokim, it's like she's the queen. She uses his credit card. It's his power. She makes a whole beautiful, amazing thing out of it. But it's his power. The coming into being of everything, that's from Shem Havaya. The Havaya Loshen Mahava. Havaya means the power to make is him. But the power to define that making, to fine-tune it in all the details, that's because it's going through the name of Elokim, that's chopping it in every possible way. The Shem Havaya Loshen Mahava. V'hagam the Shem Havayu Achtes Pashut. And even though we go on to page Shin Mem Vav, even though the Shem Havaya is Achtus Pashut, is a simple unity. It means it doesn't have different features in it. It's just one simplistic, undefinable energy. Nevertheless, it creates the abundance of creations, with variations of being because of the unification of Havaya and Elokim. Since Havaya merges with the name of Elokim, Elokim gives already the design. Havaya Elokim Kulachad, because they're really both one. Vayadei Shem Elokim, through the name of Elokim, Nasa Hariboy, that creates the abundance. The Be'emes, that creates the many. The Be'emes, B'chinas Achtus Pshuta, Hinei Achtus, V'Hariboy Einam Afechem Zelazeh. Because in the realm of Achtus Pshuta, of pure, simple, true, essential Achtus, essential oneness, the oneness and the many don't contradict each other. Because when you're a simple something, you have the potential to express yourself in every possible way. So there can be many different expressions of one simple reality. Because the riboy is not really a chalkus, it's the many infinite ways that you can express yourself. If I have a plain white piece of paper, in that paper lies the potential that I can cut out a triangle, a circle, an octagon, a this, that, a this. But in the paper, all these shapes and forms are all one potential. Because it's not defined, I can make it. So too, all the gazillion, billion, but this, it's all one Indian in the Eberster. They're not then divided. You are one, not in the B'chinas Chad, dafka because you're Chad, because you're one, is dafka hasiba. That's the reason. The loy b'chushban, it's not, you're not within the calculated realm. V'hakalu Chad, and all is one, even though there's an infinite potential, infinite. But to actualize that is in the name of Elokim. The truth is, even after everything is created, it's all one with God. It's all one. It's just to us it looks many. This that the world seems to be so hischalkus, so divided, that gives that appearance. And therefore, through the name of Elokim, Nikar, it's recognizable, Gadlos Havaya, the greatness of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. And he gives an example, just like any intellectual idea. You can have an idea, but until you don't put it into words in your own, even to yourself, if a concept doesn't crystallize until it comes into words, you organize it in your head in words. Without letters, there can't be any revelation of any idea, even to yourself. Only through the letters. But the truth is, the concept is not words. The concept is an idea, one singular concept. It's just, but to express it, it needs words. V'aseichelu echad is one. And it comes in letters. Beribu yischalkos or beribu in yanim, in many, many divisions and in many things. Through the oisiyos, it reveals the quality of the seichel. Because until you're not going to put it in the oisiyos, you're not going to, in the letters, you're not going to know the quality of the seichel. Could be a very, 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 very brilliant person, but if they don't actualize it in words, and then they themselves don't recognize their brilliant potential, and definitely if they're not putting it into words, others don't recognize it. The name Havaya, it's all simple. And everything really only comes from that simple power of God. But only through the name of Elokim, Nikar Gadlo Shem Havaya, you can recognize the greatness of the Shem Havaya. Umalka Beloi Matranisa, and a king without a queen. Queen is that power of speech. Lav Iu Gadol, he's not great. The Shem Havaya Beloi Shem Elokim, the name Havaya without the name of Elokim, Einoi Nikar Gedulasa, we don't recognize its greatness. Kiyamai De Shem Elokim, only through the name of Elokim. Nikar Gedulasa Yisbarach, you recognize Hashem's greatness. Okay, that's one pirush in Gadol Havaya Be'er Elokeinu. Now, the Rebbe, however, says, he's all trying to explain which concept. Why is the world called? I want to bring you back. Why is the world called Yesh Me'ayin? Something from nothing. So he began to explain this concept. How when God creates the world, it's a simple energy, but when it goes it passes through the name of Elokim, which combines and makes the letters. Yeah. Okay. Yesh oid pirush b'masha kasav Gadol Havaya Be'er Elokeinu. There's another pirush in Gadol Hashem Be'er Elokeinu. Not that God's greatness is expressed through the creation, but rather like this. Which greatness of God can we appreciate? Can we see Be'er Elokeinu when he's funneled down Be'er Elokeinu? But his true greatness, that we don't know of. that we will never know. I mean, we do know through Torah, but we don't know. It's not known. What we think is great is what we can see through Ir Elokeinu. Gadol Hashem u'Mehulo, what we can praise is Be'ir Elokeinu. But Ligdulasai, his true greatness, ain't cheker. There's nothing you can't even investigate because you don't have what to work with. You can only look at him. You can only know him through his creation. But his true power is not even through his creation. His true strength is not expressed in creation. So, when can you call him great? When he's Be'ir Elokeinu. But his true greatness is unfathomable. His true greatness is not even investigatable. Like it says, to you greatness is cancelled. That's what it means. Greatness is nothing to you. To you it's not. It's batal. The midas hagedula, the whole attribute of greatness, tafalu batal is nullified to you. Because in the place of his greatness, that's where you find his humility. It's a tremendous anava, it's a tremendous humility to him to create the worlds. The Gemara gives a really geschmack example to that. Someone who has millions of gold coins. And he's praised b'shel kesef. And we say that he has a nice bunch of silver dollars. He's a shiftless vigor. You're not praising him. You're embarrassing him. And likewise, if you have someone who is wise in every science, everything. B'chachmas atchuna, in the chachma of tchuna, which is astronomy. No, tchuna is not astronomy, is it? What's astronomy? Yeah, that's what they refer to as tchuna. What's chachmas? V'chachmas elokus. So maybe it's just chachmas tchuna means in general the sciences, worldly science. V'chachmas elokus and godly science, godly knowledge. V'yadei gam kein letzayetz yurim. Now this person happens to have a very good. They have an ability. They're also artistic. So you have this like genius of genius. They're also artistic. And you praise him that he on their artistic work. That's not the praise that you praise. It's not capturing the person's true greatness. If you praise him that he's able to paint, it's a shame to him. And he gives an interesting example. Shmuel, the Tana Shmuel, the Amoira, the sage of the Talmud, Shmuel. Sha'amar, he said, Nihirin li shvilin de rekia. Shmuel said, it is illuminated by me. The streets of heaven, keshvilin de naharda. I know the streets of all the mystical secrets. I know all the pathways of heaven like the streets of my own little city of Naharda. I mean, if you need directions in heaven, I know all the channels. Shmuel says this. So and if you're going to praise Shmuel, that he knows how to write, he writes a beautiful handwriting. That's not a praise deserved. Why is he suddenly picking Shmuel? He can't every Tana in the world. He can speak Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, Rabbi Akiva. Why is he suddenly picking Shmuel out of all people? Okay, Shmuel. I think because the Rebbe's father, the Rebbe Rashab's father is Reb Shmuel, the Rebbe Marash. So he's alluding to his father. Praise him. What do you know about my father? He says. Shvilin derekia. He knows the roots. He knows all the paths of heaven. Like the idea of Gedula. It's a tremendous humility. There's no, it's unfathomable at all. The Inyan ein cheker. When we say ein cheker, it's even more. It's not just it's beyond. Ein cheker means you can't even begin to investigate. Because it's not within the range of the intellect. Meaning his greatness is not even within the range of knowledge. It's not like a higher knowledge. It's not even within the range of knowledge. Knowledge is useless. Just like I say, I can't investigate you with an apple, because the apple is not a tool for what, or I can't use. Let's do it better. I can't use a ruler to fathom your greatness. Yeah, but a ruler or measuring tape measures physical distance. It doesn't measure content. Same with the Eibishter, you can't use intellect even, because the intellect is not a measuring in him. He's not within the realm of intellect at all. So that's why even though we're speaking about Gadol Hashem, Gadol Havaya is only the ray of Havaya. That's Gadol, that's great, and that translates, as we said earlier, Be'ir Elokeinu, into the city of God. That's the power of God that lends itself to creation. He's differentiating now between two levels of Havaya. Havaya itself and the rays of Havaya. So Hashem himself, Ligdulasai ein cheker. Gadol Havaya is the ray of Havaya that goes into Shem Elokim. Shayach Pesach Saga, that's possible to grasp. That's why we say we can praise it. We can praise it. The essence of the name Havaya is beyond grasping. There's no unfathomable. If you're going to research God, are you going to find him? The Masha Noidalano Elokus, this that we know the divine, only from his actions. Through the name of Elokim. But the essence of the Oirin Soif, Ein Cheker Klal, is not fathomable at all. When can we call him Gadol? When he lowers himself down into the city of Elokeinu. Then we can call him Gadol. But his essential greatness, Ein Cheker, is unknowable. Now we go back to Mi Bara Ela. And this is the meaning of Mi Bara Ela, who created these. Then Yesavos, the actual power to create, is attributed to who? Not to Elokim. Not even to the ray of Havaya that's inside Elokim. The only one who can create is the Eibishter himself. God himself. The essence of the Ein Sof could create. No one else can create Yesh Me'ayin. It's only God. But in creation, the actual power that is used to create, even though it's borrowing off God's power, the actualization is only a ray of Havaya that goes into Elokim. That is actually, but which power now? How can it create if it doesn't have the power? There's a rule that always says Or me'ein hamo'or. A ray is a reflection of its source. Since the source is Havaya, so the ray of Havaya has a reflection of Havaya. Therefore, it has the power of the mo'or. The luminary is the source; it has the power. But since light is a revelation of the source, so the light too carries over that power to create from the essence of Havaya. The power to create is from the, but even though in the literal creation, is only through the rays of Havaya. But if it would only come from the rays of Havaya, it would be, since Havaya is indivisible, since Havaya is simple, it wouldn't create a world that is distinguished and all the details. That's because the ray of Havaya, funneled through the name of Elokim, creates a world that is so complex. So what is he saying? He's saying the me. Who is the me? The real me, when it says Mi Bara Ela, who is the real me? Is Havaya himself, not even the ray of Havaya. Ukamoi ba'atzmos ein soif, and like in atzmos ein soif, hu levadi bekoicha v'yacholtoi lahavis yesh me'ayin. Only the essence of the ein sof has the power to create something from nothing. V'hishavos, but the actual coming into being, hu maha'or, is coming from the light. Shu me'ein amor, which is similar to the luminary source. Ukamoi came b'shem avaya, hishavos hu mi'etzem shem avaya. The coming into being is from the essence of the Shem Havaya. V'zau mi bara eila, that the mi creates, the mi is referring to Havaya. V'zau shabriya nikra yesh me'ayin. Going now, he answers the question. Now we'll understand why creation is called something from nothing. L'choyre eino movim v'aloim m'cha, from you is everything. Achi anosenes. That's the reason. L'fi shem m'cha hakoil. Since creation is taka coming from you, and the Eibishter himself, the Ein Sof who built the Musag, and the Ein Sof, we said earlier, Ligdulasa, his true greatness, Ein Cheker. So we can't even define it as Yesh, because we have zero measuring instrument even to begin to fathom what he is, even to begin the exploration. So we say Me'ayin from a power that's just Ayin. To us, it's Ayin, completely outside of the range of even our research, because it's coming from him himself. Lekain, what? It's not. It's nothing in the sense that we have zero. Yes. Lekain nikra yesh me'ayin. The ayin yesh play base pirushim. Ayin has two pirushim. Ha'echad ayin ha'ara. One pirush is yesh me'ayin, means it's created only from the ray, and the ray is nothing compared to the source. V'ayin b'chinas ha'ara. That's the meaning of Ara Shem Havaya Shem Hashem Elokim. That's the lower element of Yesh Me'ayin, because it's connecting to the ray of Havaya that's in the name of Elokim. The Abayz is a deeper meaning of Ayin. Ayin, why is it called Ayin? Not because it's nothing. It's the ultimate something. But She'enoi Musik, we have zero comprehension even to deal with it. The essence of his greatness, that has no research at all. Al Shem Zen Nikra Ayin, and that's why it's called Ayin. We turn over the page. It is Yesh Me'ayin because it really comes from you. Now, so who's the me? The real me is Havaya himself. Mi bara ele. That's why we call him me, because it's Ayin. We don't know. That's the combination of the name Elokim. But what's v'hefresh? What's the difference? The mi ele, when you say mi ele, tevis mi, koidem letevis ele. The mi is first before ele, and it allows you to sense that there is a me, there is someone there. Ubeshem Elokim, but in the name of Elokim, tevis ele, koidem letevis mi. The ele comes before the mi. Ubetziruf yam, it's not even in the words me, it changes even the tziruf of the me, it turns it to yam. The Yidua is known, the Harishon Goiver, in every word, the beginning of the word is always stronger than the end of the word. Hainu, the B'Shem, Elokim, in the name of Elokim. Shahatzirufu Ele Yam, in the name of Elokim, where the tziruf, the combination, is first Ele, then Yam. Tevas Ele, hu bizgabrus, the Tevas Ele, the word Ele is stronger. The main thing is what we see, which is the world. That's the world. What is revealed, that's what's seen. The world seems to be such a reality, such a mitzias. The lukus hu muster v'nelam, and the lukus is concealed and hidden. V'gam b'madregas elukus, and even in the levels of elukus. In other words, in the Shem Elokim, Ele is dominant, but there is a me there. But even the me, it's the lower level of me. It's the ha'ara of Shem Havaya, and even that is not felt. What? It's a reflection, and even the reflection. That's interesting. The me is the mem yud, is the essence. The yud mem is the reflection of it. V'gam ha'madreges elokus hu b'chinas ha'ora shem havaya. It's the ha'ora of shem havaya. Ha'mislabish b'shem elokim. That's enclosed, like we spoke earlier, Gadol havaya, the power of havaya that's ba'ir elokeinu, that's within the city. Shegam kishem musik. And therefore, even when you do sense it, umurgish elokus, and you're sensing the divine, you're sensing godliness that's related to the world. So it doesn't nullify you completely. You surrender to it, you feel it, but it doesn't completely overwhelm you. But when we're zeicha to experience mi eile, mi bara eile, the mi eile, hu shetevis mi mizgaber. Number one, the me, the godly, the divine is dominating. Meir begilu Elokus is shining in its strength. And the world doesn't seem to be so much of a something. And also, and in the levels of the divine, the essence of the name Havaya is what's shining. Which is the simple oneness of God, which therefore, when you experience that, when you feel that, when you experience that, it knocks your socks off completely. You become completely bottled b'metzias, mamish. The revelation of Hashem's true greatness. That's when it's revealed. Elokim is when it's concealed. And Mitzrayim is even when it's even more concealed. And that's what he's going to explain from this point. But we're going to leave that now so that we can go get some kugel, so we don't get lost. And all those who want to run for the hills, now is your chance. Now is your chance to sneak out without me seeing you sneaking. You might get interrogated on Shabbos. What happened? I turned around and you were gone. But poor guys, go to sleep. Not your fault. Not your fault. It's good stuff. It's great stuff. The best stuff.
say within 45 seconds.